Hello everyone, and welcome to my Discipline Priest tips on the Orgozoa encounter in the Eternal Palace. I would say that this is the first boss where your healing abilities really get tested in the raid. While Ashbane can be challenging to survive through some of the more difficult sections, Orgozoa requires good healing from all of your healers throughout the entire first phase. Most skills opt to 5 heal and 3 tank this fight, in order to meet the healing requirement and also to be able to group the adds in easier. However, more and more logs of guilds killing it the first time with 4 healers are popping up now that we have more gear, and with 4 healers, if you can skip the 6th Arcane Current, then it is definitely worth 4 healing. If you're 5 healing, you want to beat the 8th current. Either way, since it is very important that you beat whatever Arcane Current that you're trying to beat, and there's really no healing that's required until a bunch of incubation fluid go out, you should definitely consider using a DPS pot on pull, and maybe even the Mechagun trinket and putting in as much damage as possible before any real damage comes in. If DPS is not an issue, then I really recommend using 2 healing trinkets here, with the first sentence being an obvious choice. For talents, Purge the Wicked is the obvious choice here, as there's always more than one thing you can dot, and since a lot of the raid members have a permanent dot, the constant healing for Purge the Wicked is a lot more useful than Halo here. Shadow Covenant can be very good at saving the few people who might not be able to make it alive out of the Arcane Current, and it also lets you heal just a tiny bit better while dodging the dribbling acres. But as always, Sins of the Many is a solid choice if you feel like you don't need the Shadow Covenant healing. If you're going for the 7 Arcane Current strategy with 5 healers, then you will be facing the boss around 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So that means you're looking to use your Evangelism total of 3 times in first phase. The healing really ramps up around 3 minutes into the fight, so it's also a good idea to use Shadow Fiend at the start during Lust for more DPS on the boss. Even when Arcane Current is not happening, there's constant damage coming in from the adds AoE as well as the Incubation Fluid debuff, so I really recommend using your Rapture and Evangelism separately here. In fact, even though there is a lot of damage over time that's done in this fight, the burst damage isn't insane, so it's likely that if you use Rapture and Evangelism together that there will be some overhealing on your Evangelism, whereas the Rapture at other points could potentially save either the tank or low members who have to move out far to spread out for the Arcane Current. Because you'll have to maintain a high count of Atonement throughout the latter half of Phase 1, mana is really a big issue here. So I really recommend Memory of Lucid Dreams as your major essence slot. If you get an early incubation fluid, it can also help you stay alive through the leech effect. For the minor essence, probably the best one is Well of Existence, because the only people that are in threat of dying are people who are below 50% health when they're moving out for Arcane Current, and Well of Existence will make sure that the healing goes onto those proper targets, as well as absorb some of the overhealing done during your Evangelism on either the targets that don't have the incubation fluid or targets that do have the incubation fluid but weren't low enough to get the full healing effect of Evangelism. Of course, you really need to coordinate with your other 4 or 3 healers on when you want to use your cooldowns, but the points where I recommend using your CDs are using Rapture when there's 5 incubation fluids out, then on Evangelism without a Shadow Fiend that you use on pull when there are 7 debuffs out, then using Rapture again when it comes back when there's 12 incubation fluids out to save those who are spreading out for the Arcane Current, then using your big ramp with Shadow Fiend Evangelism on the 15 incubation fluids. The 6th Arcane Current, which is the one with 15 incubation fluid, is actually very dangerous because it's the only one where the order of abilities that the boss uses is unpredictable. Sometimes the boss will use Dribbling Acre first, and as soon as it ends, the Arcane Current will happen. And sometimes the boss will use Arcane Current first, then use Dribbling Acre. Because once we have our ramp set up, we can actually heal pretty well while moving during Dribbling Acre. It is recommended that you ramp up as if the Arcane Current is going to happen first, and even if it doesn't happen and Dribbling Acre happens first, you will have a lot of healing going out through the dance where other healers aren't able to heal as much to keep the raid alive, and those healers can help you save the Arcane Current targets after the dance, when they have to worry about movement a little bit less once they're spread to their spot. During this 3rd dance, it's also a good idea to drop Barrier right at the center, which will cover at least one safe spot on each of the Dribbling Acre casts, and help stabilize the raid long enough for other healers to catch up after the dance is over. Make sure you use your Lucid Dreams twice in this first phase, and don't worry about using all of your mana in first phase because you'll have time to drink in the second phase, and second phase requires a lot less healing. Also, if you're ever in danger of dying, make sure you use your health stone and healing potion as well as desperate prayer. Once you face the boss and made it down, make sure that you wait a little bit in order to help grip players who are struggling to get down on time. And if the raid is topped off, this is a pretty safe spot to drink, as the other healers should be able to take care of the AoE damage from the 3 ads that are remaining for first phase. In the second phase, things play out similarly, with almost no damage coming in for a while, even with the new ads coming in. Since most raids will immune the Naga Brute's soaking mechanic, the damage intake should be pretty similar to phase 1. If you can, try to save your Shadow Fiend as well as Barrier with an Evangelism when the boss is falling below 10%, as that's when the incubation fluid count will be ramping up and a lot of healing might be needed. Outside of that, also remember when you're not healing to try and DPS as much as possible. From a healer's perspective, once you and the other healers coordinate enough to get through first phase consistently, the fight is pretty much over for you. So try to really focus on getting the cooldown timings with your other healers as much as possible, and to really use your mana efficiently to keep as much healing and atonement on as many members with the debuff as possible. That's it for my tips on Orgozoa, and I'll see you guys in the next video.